Joy, do the Dallas Cowboys have the highest ceiling in the NFC?
No, they have the highest floor. They have the highest floor.
Okay, talk that talk then, Joy Taylor.
Okay. And the
Talk
defense,
that educational talk.
And the defense
Doc.
gives them that. Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you. Dr. Joy Taylor. The defense gives them that floor because the defense is elite. So when we're looking at the other teams around the league, I see you left the Vikings out of the.
I was wondering that, but okay.
Oh, like 1, 2, 3, 4. Vikings not there. They have the highest floor because of the defense. The defense is elite. But if you're asking me to compare them to some of the other top teams in the NFC, I feel like those other teams have higher ceilings because I've seen them reach those ceilings.
I like that.
I'm very happy to arrive late to the Cowboys bandwagon party. I will probably be the last one there. You'll be pulling off. I'll probably have to run down the street and grab a corner of the car and climb on. I'm fine with that because I've been early.
I thought you said you don't run anymore.
Right, so you don't get too far because it's more.
Hopefully it doesn't go too fast.
It's more of a trot. It's like that grandma run, which is like trying to catch something that fell. It ain't nothing spectacular anymore. The point is, I'm not going to be there. I will be late because I've seen this before, and that's sort of my question with the Cowboys: is we've seen them be great in the regular season, we've seen them have these runs, but what do they do in the postseason? And it's too early to tell. But what we haven't seen from the Dallas Cowboys is something that is extremely elite, and that's what the defense is, which is their floor.
I think that's brilliant. I like what she said there. Caught me off guard, but I like it because essentially what's being said is the Cowboys' worst is better than other teams' worst, and I think that's very true. 2-5, break it down for me, though. Do the Cowboys have the highest ceiling, their potential in the NFC?
No. It's the Philadelphia Eagles, ladies and gentlemen. The Philadelphia Eagles. And this is the reason why. First of all, it's still a new team, right? Devontae Smith, it's his second year?
Yes, sir.
First year, he was trying to find his way. You was a rookie before.
Yeah.
From your rookie year to your second year, was way better.
Difference.
From your second year to your third year, way different.
Yes, sir.
We add A.J. Brown,
about it.
New to the scheme, new to the system. Imagine when we all get incorporated and we know exactly what's going on, right, on offense. I know what type of balls that I'm going to get from Jalen Hurts, the good and the bad. You start to know the play call. Same with the coaches. Look on the defense. Bradbury, new to the scheme. Still balling, new to the scheme. And then Jordan Davis, a guy that's shutting down the run game, new to the scheme. Imagine we're all playing together and we know each other.
Sure.
If you thought that front was scary now, wait till, I don't know, week 10, week 12. They're going to be dangerous.
But you're talking about players getting better. The Cowboys
Getting comfortable.
Getting comfortable.
We 5-0. We're not even comfortable
Sure.
yet. Okay.
The Cowboys are talking about players coming back.
Like, oh, Dak?
Yes.
Forget that. We got to go there first.
Oh, man, that guy.
The Cowboys are going to return a Hall of Famer at the second most important position in football, Tyron Smith.
Oh, I respect him.
And they're going to return a top 50 NFL player at the most important position in football, in Dak Prescott.
Top what?
Top 50. Voted by your peers, NFL players.
By NFL players.
So, Dave, I'm going to come to you. In light of that, do the Cowboys, in fact, got the highest ceiling?
I don't want to say yes, just because, like, again, cowboy juice, it tastes great, right? I try to avoid it, especially after what happened last year. But if that's the question you're presenting me, the answer, I think, is yes, just because we have seen, I don't want to say complete, because, Shady, you're right. Like, teams get better as the season goes along.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Thank you, brother.
Teams get better as the season goes along, typically, at least the good ones do. But we have seen Philly, Tampa Bay, Green Bay, like we have seen them with the personnel that they're going to have. I know Tampa's had guys in and out of the lineup, but for they've had Mike Evans for games. They've had Chris Godwin for games. Like
Julio.
They're not waiting on somebody like Dak Prescott. Neither are the Eagles. Like the Eagles are as complete as they're going to get in terms of their roster. And by the way, they've played games. Maybe not played the best games they're going to play.
Yeah, of course not.
No, but they've played some weak opposition. We can admit that, right? I mean, they've got wins against Detroit and Washington. I mean, that's just the truth.
Yeah, sure. No, you're right.
Well, okay. Do they have a win as strong as some of the opponents the Cowboys have played? I guess the Vikings.
Not to me.
The Vikings.
Yes, the Vikings. She talked about it earlier.
The reason, and let's stop down here.
They were number 2 in the NFC.
Is this the game we all watched together? Was that the Monday night game?
Yeah.
The reason, again, sorry, Vikings fans, the reasons I can't respect the Vikings as it stands right now, because that effort was so pathetic.
Oh, my
Don't roll
gosh.
your eyes. You were there. You were right next to me watching the games, taking my blanket.
You can have a bad
Because that
game.
effort was so pathetic and the energy was so pathetic, I haven't yet put the Vikings in that conversation.
Okay. But so that goes against the Eagles, but we're not going to hold the game against the Cowboys that they actually lost against them?
The Cowboys-Bucks game?
Yeah.
The difference for me was this. Kirk Cousins seemed like he was trying to lose the game.
Okay, but we know know Kirk wasn't actually trying to.
Let me answer the question more directly because I think I can. And I will say for the 100th time on this show, the Cowboys played so poorly against the Bucs. They played poorly enough that I gave up on them after one game.
Dak was the quarterback?
Here was the difference. Dak was the quarterback. Okay. Here was the difference. You got Tyler Smith starting his first ever game in place of Tyron Smith. Yeah. You got an offense that didn't have Michael Gallup. And you lost Dak Prescott during that game. I get that he played bad. You're allowed to have one bad game. They have since gotten Michael Gallup back. Tyler Smith and the offensive line have begun to gel and played a lot better.
Very true.
And you are going to get back a top 50 player, a player who has played at an insanely high level at times in his career. We got to see if Dak is going to play that well when he comes back. It's the injuries to his throwing hand. I don't think you can underestimate that. So that's why I'm a little bit reluctant. But if you get the Dak from weeks 1 through 7 of last year back,
we're going way back to last year.
That's a calendar year ago. That's not that long ago.
Can we go back to the Dak we recently seen? Was no touchdowns, one interception, 130 yards, and 3 points and a loss.
So franchise quarterbacks don't get aberration games.
I'm just saying, man.
No, I'm going to make a T-shirt with. No, I'm going to make it.
How many games in a row?
It is what it is.
Let me interject with this.
Please do.
This was a real thought that put me over the edge, Joy, to say that the Cowboys are the most dangerous or have the highest ceiling in the NFC. The Cowboys' biggest weakness, which we all agreed on yesterday, was at the wide receiver position. Like, relatively speaking. Yep. We wanted to say it was offensive line, but Terrence Steele, the top 15 right tackle right now, as the grade suggests.
They're playing well.
Tyler Smith is playing really well, like you said. Running backs playing well. Dalton Schultz playing well enough through injury. If the weakest position for the Dallas Cowboys is led by a receiver who averages 1,000 yards over the last 2 years, I'll take that. Like, I really sat down and thought about it, and as much as we laugh at CeeDee Lamb and all the things, if the Cowboys' biggest weakness is a first-round pick wide receiver who had 935 yards his rookie year and 1,100 yards his second year, that's when I'm like, when I look at the Packers' biggest weakness, it's a receiver who's never had more than 500 yards. If I look at the Buccaneers' biggest weakness, it's at the offensive line. They're on the second and third string thing. What am I doing?
You're doing it again.
What am I doing?
You're telling me all about numbers. Because when me and you together watch the games, right, and we watch CeeDee Lamb, Are you saying the same stuff, or what are you saying to me?
He's not like that.
He's not like that. So you're saying he's not like that when we're together one-on-one watching the game with our eyeballs. Ladies and gentlemen, America, we got to stop always looking at the stats. The stats can lie to you.
Sure.
But your eyeballs don't.
They don't.
When you drop open passes, right?
Yeah.
More than once.
Sure.
I can't put him in this category. Well, if we have him, no, we have a guy that's supposed to be a number one. That's not the number one. The old number one is getting busy right now in Cleveland.
Correct.
True. And he's not.
Correct.
So when you playing against the Eagles, right, and we got cornerbacks on both sides.
Yes.
It's going to be lights out, baby.
Here's what I'm saying, Joy. It's everybody got a weakness. Everybody do, except you could argue the Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah. The Philadelphia Eagles' weakness right now is what's Jalen Hurts going to do when it counts? We haven't seen that. That's their only weakness. Their weakness is a question mark. Everybody has a weakness in the NFC. The 49ers, at quarterback. The Vikings, at quarterback. The Buccaneers, at offensive line. The Packers, at wide receiver.
Cowboys?
The Cowboys, at wide receiver.
Quarterback sometimes.
So I'm saying, of all the weaknesses, if you got to pick one, the Cowboys' weakness isn't all that weak.
But we weren't worried about CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb had bigger numbers than Amari Cooper, and not as the number one receiver last year. We were wondering if he was going to step up more into the number one receiver role, but we already knew he could put up numbers. That wasn't the question. CeeDee Lamb wasn't a question for me. It was the rest of the wide receiving core. We're concerned about teams like the Chiefs. They still have other wide receivers. We were talking about the depth of the wide receiving core, not CeeDee Lamb. So if you can neutralize CeeDee Lamb, can the rest of the wide receiving core
Can Noah Brown beat us?
But here's the thing. Because
unless you've changed your opinion about the rest of the guys there.
I want Dave to chime in on this. Michael Gallup is an 1,100-yard receiver.
Put some respect on Michael Gallup.
He's an 1,100-yard receiver.
He's just coming back.
No, I know, and that's fair. But the thing that gave me, and wide receiver is still definitely a question mark for the Cowboys.
Absolutely.
But the thing that gave me so much pause is that they were comfortable going into the season without him. And he is still coming back, but he is back now. And hopefully a good thing for the Cowboys is that he's getting a chance to play 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4 games before Dak gets back. You would like to think he will be acclimated and ready to be himself. He had a bad drop against the Rams. He also made one of the catches of the season. Kind of got glossed over in a defensive game, but that catch was absolutely incredible. So it is a weak
was the drop. That was amazing.
I feel a lot better about the receiver core with Gallup healthy, helping CeeDee Lamb. You're seeing Noah Brown do some things. It's not as good as it could be if the Cowboys hadn't decided that they didn't need Amari Cooper, which I will never let go of. But it looks a lot better here in October than it did on Labor Day.
Jordan, let me go to this. Let me go to you for this final thought. I fervently believe that Dak Prescott is good enough to make up the small gap between the Cowboys and everybody else. The Cowboys' defense keeps them close enough to everybody else. I believe Dak Prescott is good enough to make up the small gap between the Dallas Cowboys, the Niners, the Bucks. If there's a gap between the Cowboys and the Packers, the Cowboys and the Eagles, I think Dak's good enough to make up that gap. Do you?
If he is healthy, but how healthy is he going to look? We keep talking about Dak like he has some regular old injury.
Right.
It's kind of an important injury. He has an injury to his hand that he uses to throw the football. So if he's healthy, sure, we've seen Dak put up numbers. We've seen Dak have success in the regular season and one day of success in the postseason. So sure, but that's what my question is. The question is, how high is the ceiling? What's the ceiling for the Cowboys? What is success for the Cowboys? To me, I've got to see it in the postseason before I believe anything. Because this, what we're watching right now, I have seen before. And if Dak comes back and makes it a little bit better, I've also seen that before.
I ain't seen this yet, Cowboys. At least I'm going to act like I haven't because I have a little bit of faith. A little bit. Don't let me down.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.